Don't worry guys, it's not going to be 10 minutes. We are going to get started really soon. There we go. Oh, I need my little panda. All right. All right, guys, we are here. Obviously, podcast number 5, I think it was. I uploaded 4 earlier this morning. So obviously today's stories are, we're going to talk about Bud Light getting the Death Star treatment. We're going to talk about a Spanish Prime Minister who is full of hot air. And we're going to talk about how being physically fit is bad for your social credit, apparently. We'll use that word. But apart from that, I'll give it a couple of minutes. All right, guys, let's jump into it. So obviously podcast number 5 for the day. Guys, just to confirm, we do these every morning at 10:30 Australian time, or roughly the same time that this is aired. So if you want to know when they are, obviously, yep. And they are on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday morning. And I'm also thinking about doing a live show for like the Sunday night or Saturday night maybe or something. Saturday night's a bad night, actually. Friday nights are bad nights too. Sunday nights are good, but then I've got the show on Monday in the morning. I have to work it out. All right, let's jump into it, guys, because as some of you may know, Bud Light has been in a world of hurt. Ever since the Dylan Mulvaney basically boycott, their stock price has dropped. It has plummeted. Let me see if we can actually... Bud Light stock price. So it's actually Anheuser-Busch is the actual stock company. Now, this is over the past day, right? And, you know, it doesn't look too bad. But when you go back and do 6 months... Oh, okay. So it was hanging around the $63 a share. At the moment, it's down to about $56 a share. Now, obviously, this is not the only corporation that has decided to, quote, go woke. Target has all done the same. Last I heard, they had wiped basically about $30 billion off their market cap. If you own shares in Budweiser, sue them. Because they now are breaking their fiduciary duty. I can't pronounce that. Basically, they're not operating in the best interest of their investors, and you would actually have a legal case against them. Because once they saw the price drop and tank, they kept doubling, tripling, and quadrupling down, which is basically against the law. There's an actual law that says that you're not allowed to, like, you run your company into the ground if you have like investors and stuff. So that they are actually breaking that, and you would have an actual really good case. I'm not a lawyer, talk to a lawyer, but yeah. But it's getting worse for Bud Light, because Costco is going through, and people have noticed that there's this Costco, right? So this is Costco here, and you will notice that little asterisk up there, right? You're probably like, oh, what does that mean? I wonder what that means. What that means is that they are no longer ordering Budweiser or Budweiser beer. That little star there, the little asterisk, basically means it's like a code that's used in marketing in Costco apparently, which means that they will no longer be stocking this product. So what does this mean for Bud Light? Well, basically Bud Light is losing their spot for Costco. So photos shared on social media show that Bud Light has allegedly received Costco's so-called Star of Death. The small asterisk up the top right-hand corner of the item price tag, which the retailer uses to signal a product will no longer be restocked once it is sold out. Images shared on Twitter showed the price tag for Bud Light's beer at different Costco stores, all marked with the Star of Death. It's unclear where the stores are located. One of the pictures shows them being sold for $14.97 for a 2x12 pack, which Twitter users said was Costco's practically giving Bud away, because I believe there's also some sort of like buyback or something that's happening at the moment. The photos were shared as the boycott against Bud Light by conservatives. It's not just conservatives, but anyway. But the boycott against Bud Light customers angered by the sponsorship deal with trans activist and influencer Dylan Mulvaney. Now, the reason why the, quote, conservatives were upset had nothing to do with the fact that it was Dylan Mulvaney. It had to do with the fact that Dylan Mulvaney has a younger audience, literally children, and basically they were doing a alcohol sponsored product to their younger base, right? And even the Bud Lights, the marketing, the PR firm came out and said that they were trying to lose the older generation of Bud Light drinkers, that they wanted to go to sort of a more younger base, which sort of marries up with what, Dylan Mulvaney and younger base and stuff like that. So, even here, Newsweek has said earlier this year continues with a significant negative impact on the brand. So, according to the new sales data seen by earlier this week, and we do have it here, Bud Light has seen a percentage drop in revenue for sales for June compared with the same time last year. So, are they going to show us the graph? No, of course not. So, it's saying here, new sales data seen by Newsweek has shown that Bud Light, still feeling the impact of the boycott, has seen its percentage drop in revenue for sales for June compared with the same time last year. So you're probably wondering, what's this drop? Well, it showed a 4-week period ending in the 1st of July. Bud Light saw a 28% decrease in revenue sales, as well as a decrease in volume. The number of units of beers sold was down roughly 31.2% compared to the same time last year. Now, the money side of things doesn't really mean anything, because obviously prices have gone up since then, inflation, stuff like that. But they've also gone through and they've also been giving away their beer with like discount coupons and like buybacks and stuff like that too. So even with it being 31.2%, I think that might be very, very, very sort of favourable towards Bud Light, because there was that time over, I believe it was over the 4th of July, which actually would be after this. So, but there was a time during June when Bud Light was actually giving away beer. Let me see if I can find out. Bud Light So Bud Light to give away $10,000 every week as a part of the biggest summer campaign ever in bid to end the crippling boycott. So here's the video here. Someone talking about it. Just wait for this stupid ad.
Giving its beer away for free, following its disastrous partnership with transgender influencer Dylan Mulvaney. The beer company is being mocked online for offering a rebate on unsold cases worth just $0.98. America's flagship beer brand and its parent company, Anheuser-Busch, has been in damage control since Mulvaney shared a series of partnered posts with her 11 million social media followers on April 1st. The brewer's latest attempt to claw back consumers.
So this was in May. So I don't know how much of this 31.2% of their volume being down is actually accurate, or if it's actually worse than that, but they had these months where they were giving away free beer, so it actually could be worse than what they're claiming, because they basically had to give away the free beer just to sell units or give away units. And if that's also taken into account here, then that's obviously a big issue too. Like, for example, if I turn around and I give away 5,000 cases of beer, and then someone says to me, well, how many beers how much beer did you give away, or how much beer did you sell? And I said, oh, I gave away 5,000. You know, that's still units that have moved, right? It's just obviously I haven't got the money for it because I gave it away, so to speak, right? And that's where I'm wondering if these 31.2% is also taking into account that as well. But yeah, like I say, the main reason for this boycott is just because of the fact that people just don't want, like, Dylan Mulvaney to sell beer to kids. Like I said, Dylan Mulvaney has a very young audience of children, and they basically said to her, him, whatever you want to call it, said, do you want to do an alcohol sponsorship? So, you know. And now obviously it's morphed. Now it's just seen as the beer for the less masculine, we'll just say. And believe it or not, nobody wants to go out and get a beer and drink a beer that your mates are going to laugh at you for, right? So, yeah. Costco says the Star of Death for Bud Light will not be restocked. Sorry. Costco says Star of Death for Bud Light will not be restocked. Tweeted one user. Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, gotcha, yeah. Newsweek could not verify with Costco stores that we're not restocked the beer brand and has contracted the retailer through the contract available website on Tuesday. Normally when media says they've contacted someone, they just send an email out 5 minutes before they write the article. Some Reddit users have pointed out that some Costco stores might only not restock 16 cans shown in one of the photos, but continue selling the 36 packs. Okay. To be honest, look, even if they're getting rid of the 16-ounce cans, and yeah, okay, but you know, like at the end of the day, you know, it does make you wonder why. It's a little bit. Look, if it isn't because of Dylan Mulvaney and the boycott, it is a very, very big coincidence, right? After their brand is not selling. People are not going through and not buying it. They're not lining up to get the beers when it goes to, like, obviously at sporting events and stuff. We're seeing photos where, like, sporting events are empty with, like, lineups for, like, all the other brands, but Bud Light's empty. I think it would be a very, very big coincidence if they just went through and just all of a sudden weren't restocking it because, you know, we want to have a different volume of can. But we'll see. As for this, guys, personally, look, it's possible they're not getting. Although this one is the 12 ounce. That's the 12 ounce there, I've seen. But continue selling the 36 pack of 12s. Well, that's what that is. 36 / 12 ounce cans with the star. So that's not true. Because I think at the end of the day that Costco's probably getting rid of it. Like they say, look, they're realizing that they don't sell. Yeah. Shelf space, it's a premium, and if your product's not selling, well then guess what? You lose your shelf space. I used to work in retail. I know exactly what it's like. But and obviously there's one other thing too, just very very quickly. People have been going through and making links between the prices, and so for example, if something's been sold at $14.97. Apparently the 0.97 means something else. Apparently the if it's 0.99, it's full price. If it's 0.97, it's on special, and if it's 0 or 0.1 or whatever it is, then it's discontinued or whatever it is. There's some sort of code apparently people are realizing when it comes to the prices. To be honest, I think that the biggest thing that you can actually go through and look at is just this here. The little asterisk, I think, tells you everything you need to know. And that's on the 36 and 12 ounce cans. So, but guys, let me know what your thoughts are in that comment section below. Alright. Next, let's talk about the Great Pretenders. So, guys, obviously, this is the Spanish minister. So the socialist Spanish minister has just turned up to, I believe it's the G20 or some sort of climate conference. Turned up to some climate conference riding a bike. Oh, isn't that great? Hey, I love the fact that we have the Spanish ministers riding bikes, because it's so much better than what they would normally do, which is like catch a private plane to these events, right? It's good to see that she rode the bike all the way there. Oh wait, she didn't. So this is surreal. The socialist Spanish minister used a private jet to attend the climate conference, but they pulled over about 100 meters before the venue. She gets out of the limo and takes a bike. Yep. Nothing says PR. Sorry. Nothing says PR like getting 100 meters out of the venue and then riding in on the bike and claiming that you're an activist for climate change. So, obviously, this is hysterically funny. Let's see if we can find an actual article dealing with this. Caught riding a bike. Oh, it's our friend over at InfoWars. So, Spanish Energy Minister, Teresa Ribera was caught exiting a limo and mounting a bike to ride into the European Union Climate Change Summit, following her initial arrival by a private jet. Footage of Rubin's ridiculous PR stunt went viral Monday, showing her riding into climate change conference, escorted by 2 gasoline-powered security vehicles. The Los Tesa Rodina, I'm mispronouncing that name, I'm butchering it, whatever. So that's actually a Twitter that is in Spanish. Can we translate that? Unable to fetch translation. Okay. So here it is here. Tosa Rober's thing about making you arrive by bikes at a climate summit, travelling barely 100 metres, escorted by 2 armoured gasoline cars, is another of the images that is perfectly defining this government, wrote one Twitter user. As per the information available to us, the minister travelled for the EU climate summit via jet. Times Now News reported. It has been revealed that the minister arrived in the venue in a chauffeured car, but 100 metres before arriving, the minister got out and rode a bike to the venue. The irony is Roberta was taking part in discussions in support of the European Commission proposal for a law to restore damaged environments, which groups opposing the project have said could jeopardise food security. It's very important not only to conserve but also to restore nature. There will be a time to improve what we have on the table, but for the time being, the best thing we can do is achieve an agreement, Roberts said on Monday. In other words, you can eat the bugs. As usual, the lawmakers responsible for establishing climate regulations to which the rest of the public must adhere to have no problem being hypocritical. But their rules for me, not for thee attitude does not escape the security or scrutiny of social media. So, yeah, obviously very, very interesting. It's funny how, they do all these PR stunts and they don't actually believe what they claim, right? Like, even if she had to get the private plane to the event, right? Because of, water and stuff and distance. Still, you're going to tell me she couldn't bike ride more than 100 metres? Like, 100 metres is nothing. But yeah, guys, let us know what your thoughts are in the comment section below regarding that. Alright, third story for the day. We are flying through these actually today. Pandemic fitness trends have gone extreme literary. So, white supremacists' latest scheme to valorize violence and hypermasculinity has gone digital. So, the actual original title for this was actually, let's see if... Have MSNBC blocked me? Wow. So basically the original title was something along the lines of white supremacists leading to gym or whatever, right? But yeah, it's the far right's obsession with fitness is going digital was the original title. So let's break it down. So it appears that the far right has taken advantage of the pandemic at home fitness trends to expand its decade-plus radicalization of physical mixed martial arts, or MMA. Wow. And combat sports. Earlier this month, researchers reported that the network of online fascist fitness chat groups on the encrypted platform Telegram are recruiting and radicalizing young men with something I don't want to say because obviously this is still on YouTube, and white supremacist extreme ideologies initially lured with health tips and strategies for positive physical change. New recruits are later invited to closed chat groups where far right content is shared. What do you consider far right? This is the problem, right? The media is literally trying to make out that if you go to the gym and work out, you have a chance of becoming a neo-Nazi. So my biggest question is, what do you call as far right? What do you call as far right content? Because that could be anything. It really could be anything at all. Physical fitness has always been central to the far right in Menkev. Hitler fixated on boxing and Judaism. Okay, Hitler wasn't far right. Hitler was actually far left. He was a National Socialist. So, like, he actually advocated for, like, social systems. Like healthcare and all. Believing they could help him create an army of millions whose aggressive spirit and impeccable training bodies, combined with the fanatic love of the fatherland, would do more for Germany nation than any mediocre tactical weapons training. He's probably right about that, actually. I don't know, if I had like 300 Spartans charging at me, I'd be a little bit scared. In the more modern times, the far-right group have launched mixed martial arts and boxing gyms in Ukraine, well, I doubt that, Canada and France, among other places. It's funny how we keep hearing about far-right in Ukraine. It's weird, that, isn't it? Focused on training far-right nationalists in violent hand-to-hand combat and street fighting techniques. It's the caught the attention of intelligence agencies, who, by the way, also claimed that there were 51 intelligence agencies that were claiming that Donald Trump was a Putin puppet, and ended up being completely wrong about that, by the way. So, you know, sometimes there's a lack of intelligence in the intelligence agencies. So, especially in Europe, where various reports have noted the role of combat sports and MMA in radicalizing and promoting far-right violence. Okay. A series of collaborative efforts between governments, national sports associations, and local gyms in places such as Germany, Poland, and the United Kingdom have introduced, intervened, and preventative programs. The US is comparatively far behind, which has only become more and more problematic since the phenomenon is growing in the country, building on the established fight culture of the MMA far-right extremists. The thing is, they literally consider anybody that's not left of them as far-right. Like, these are the same guys that have tried to make out that Joe Rogan is far-right, you know. So, the leader of the Maryland Skinheads group, for example, once ran a gym to recruit and train white supremacists in mixed martial arts. Okay, but you say he once ran a gym, so he doesn't anymore. Right? This is kind of like debunking your own narrative here. 4 members or associates of the racist, violent Rise Above movement, or RAM, which I've never even heard of, so they must be really, really popular. The self-described premier MMA club of the alt-right pled guilty to conspiracy to riot after the 27 Unite the Right, Charlottesville, Virginia. The online propagandist for the now defunct group was spotted among protesters on January 6th last year. Yeah, well, apparently there was a whole bunch of feds there too, by the way, so, you know, maybe it is a far-right thing. When members of the white supremacist group Patriot Front, or as we like to call them, Fed Front, marched in Washington, D.C. in December 2021, they were accompanied by a new media outlet created by RAM's founder, Robert Redondo, who is working to create a network of far-right MMA active clubs in the US and abroad. There has been a lot of questions raised about Patriot Front. A lot of people are actually saying that they're actual feds. Now, a lot of people are like, oh, what do you mean by that? Right? No. It's quite simple, right? If you want to go through and make out that there is a far-right problem in your country, and there isn't a far-right problem in your country, you can make one by getting a whole bunch of people march around with, like, masks on, and no one's going to know who they are. Now, the reason why we think they were feds is because lately they have been demasked. They were marching somewhere, and someone ran up and grabbed and snatched one of their masks, and they were not happy about it. But obviously Elon Musk, MSNBC, thinks that you're a Nazi if you work out. Laugh my ass off. I believe Joe Rogan has also commented on it too. Guys, they're not saying... this is Sean Head, by the way, who's a lefty. Guys, they're not saying fitness is bad. They're just casually putting fitness and Nazis in the same box and going, kind of weird, isn't it? Just saying. Yeah, pretty much. I agree with you on this one. White supremacist origins of exercise and the other surprising facts about the history of the US physical fitness. Gym bros are more likely to be right-wing. Which is weird because I thought they were talking about the far right, not just right-wing. Oh, wait, they're the same thing, don't you know? Do you boast about your fitness? Watch out, you'll unavoidably become right-wing, apparently. And obviously white supremacists... okay, said that already. Look, at the end of the day, I don't think going through and actually working out is going to make you right-wing. I do think what it will do is help with your testosterone levels, help with your fitness, help with your health, and basically allow you to be more confident and take care of yourself. Which is basically everything that the establishment doesn't want. Because guess what? If you can go through and take care of yourself, well, you don't exactly need them, right? The worst thing for a government is being self-sufficient. And look, obviously these are the same people that are going through and making out that, that overweight and obese is beautiful. Like we just had, you're going to laugh at this. We just had a girl win the Miss Dairy Cream. I think it was. I think actually, Paul Watson talks about it today. Here it is, yeah. So they went through and they basically went on about Lizzo being amazing, right? There's a photo of Lizzo right there. Being extremely, extremely overweight. And here, I gained weight. I look good. Lizzo displays her curves in a dark brown leotard as she shows off the dance moves in sizzling clip. It's interesting because if you wear black, it's actually slimming too. So, yeah. Makes you wonder why she did it, right? Why she chose black. If she's... Black is beautiful, and all that sort of stuff, right? There was a clip... Yeah, MSNBC exclusive. We take a deep dive into the weird world of the far-right Americans and their bizarre fixation with eating healthy, going outside, and staying fit. Yeah. I can't find it. Somewhere in this video, he talks about... He talks about There it is there. So apparently, this girl is the Miss Great something or other. She has beaten all these other women because she is totally beautiful. And I think it was actually something like Miss Dairy Queen or something like that. It was. Let's see. What's Paul say?
Like the winner of Miss Greater Dairy in America was...
There, Miss Greater Dairy. But yeah, like I say, obviously at the end of the day, you know, we got people like pushing stuff like this. You know, we got people pushing stuff like Lizzo, who is extremely overweight.
People who demand you genuflect before...
And, you know, like dancing like in the bathroom and stuff like that. And then, you know, obviously if you do go out and work out and be fit and healthy, then obviously you're far right. You know that, right? Because God forbid you take care of yourself. It's interesting, right? It's like they're trying to push everybody else to not exercise because it's easier for them if they don't have to exercise, right? But guys, let me know what your thoughts are in that comment section below. Obviously, the guys in this video has been helpful. Please smack that like button. If you're new to the channel, welcome and subscribe. Apart from that, guys, we will see you in the next demonetized video from YouTube. Have a great night and enjoy.